Welcome back, everybody, to episode 190 of The Tech Informist. This is Kevin.
And this is Brad.
And on this episode, we are going to talk about Elon Musk wanting to speed up worldwide travel.
Twitter testing 280 characters.
Images of the canceled Xbox Watch Surface.
Amazon shows off their new device lineup.
The LG V30 is coming to the United States on October the 5th.
And, of course, our app, entertainment, and hardware picks, along with beer.
Yes, beer. So welcome back, everybody. We're going to have to just kind of run through this a little bit because we're somewhat short on time. But before we do get started, I want to let everybody know about our new Facebook group and community. If you go to Facebook, you can go either directly to the link, facebook.com/groups/techinformist, or you can just simply search on Facebook for Tech Informist Community, or you can just click on the link that I'm going to put in the show notes, which you can see by listening to this on your podcast or just by going to techinformist.com. Just approved a new member, Landon. Welcome. Welcome to the group. Thank you for wanting to join in on the discussion. And again, this is just all brand new, so it's going to be a little slow grow. So if you're out there listening, please send in a request. We'll let you in. Invite other people that want to just talk about technology. No politics. No person bashing. Just be nice, cordial.
Yeah, I mean, like I always say, I think Facebook's groups are really nice. They work really well, and they're among the best in the industry, you know, other than maybe subreddits. But, yeah, I really enjoy the Facebook groups. They're a great way to kind of meet a lot of like-minded people about topics that are important to you.
Stay focused, my friends. Yes, it is great. I really do regret not turning the Tech Informist page on Facebook into a group.
It didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, we did try a Slack channel, and obviously Slack is easy to use, but it's a little more cumbersome because it involves another app.
We already have, like, 50 to 100 apps on our phones these days.
Yeah,
so
not everybody likes to use Slack just to be involved in one group. So Facebook, you can easily access it wherever you are, whether you're on your computer or your smartphone, and away you go. So yes, please join the Facebook group. So Tech Informers community. We look forward to seeing you over there. But now, let's talk about Elon Musk's big fucking rocket. Because I know you've had a chance to watch the video, and like you said, this kind of surprised you that it was actually happening. I don't think you knew about it until late last night.
Yeah, late last night. I guess it would have been 10:30. I was just surfing through my feeds as I normally do towards late night, and it's like, oh, Elon's going to announce plans to go to Mars and all kinds of other things. I'm like, wait, what? So I didn't get a chance to watch it live. However, I did watch it this morning as we record this. Lots of surprising things, and yeah, that BFR that you mentioned at the beginning here, that's its actual code name, because they didn't know what else to call it. And
wasn't kidding.
Being Elon, he's a huge nerd, so of course he's going to call it a BFR. But it explained, a lot of things that he wants to do. And while it may be a little optimistic, that's just how Elon is. I mean, even at the very beginning of the entire thing, most CEOs will go out and say how, oh, we're, changing the world, or we're going to do these things and make money. And usually that's what comes across. With Elon, it's not about changing the world. He wants to inspire the world. He wants us to get up in the morning and be inspired that, hey, we're going to another planet, or hey, we can colonize another planet. Things like that. I don't know. Elon is otherworldly in the way he thinks and the things that he does. And for that, I really appreciate that I'm alive during him being alive. This is just amazing what this guy can accomplish.
There's a lot of big picture thinkers, but not a lot of big picture thinkers and actors.
Yeah.
He's acting.
Yeah, and it's so fascinating to watch him on the stage explain things, because he has a lot of charisma, even though he's not an entirely great public speaker.
Right, you can tell he's a little awkward. He's
a little awkward, kind of maybe even nervous.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he always gets the crowd to laugh. He always has somebody stand up and cheer, you go, Elon, show the world, I mean, he's so laid back and he's less robotic than, again, most CEOs out there. And it really shows. But back to what like he's announcing. So essentially, first off, he announced like the new rocket that they're developing. I can't go into a terrible bunch of detail because then I'd have to kill you. No, I don't remember.
Whoa.
I don't remember most of it, actually, because I just watched it, and I'm still letting it all sink in. But one of the things that they want to do is they want to land a bunch of equipment on Mars in 2022, and then take people there by 2024, because Mars and Earth align about every 2 years. And then in that cycle, that's, obviously what they'll be doing. The other thing that they want to try to do is do within our own planet, he wants to create travel to where you could travel anywhere on Earth in under an hour. Wow. So you could take off, at noon here in St. Louis, let's say. Probably have to do this on the coast at first, but let's just say it's in St. Louis. And you could travel halfway around the Earth. The other opposite side of the Earth, it'll be, probably close to 1 a.m. when you land, but you took off at noon. So you'll see the day and night cycle just cycle faster than probably any human being usually gets to see, other than like ISS. But
the people up on space station.
And this will be going at approximately, I think it was like 18,000 miles per hour. God. So that kind of gives you an idea of how fast you're going. I mean, you would obviously have to leave the kind of really low Earth atmosphere and kind of just graze the atmosphere. You get a nice little arc. You could probably get great pictures up there.
Yeah.
By the way, this is like one of my top bucket lists of all time. Like, number one thing I want to do is at least low Earth orbit. But the crazy thing about all this, this sounds expensive. It should cost about as much as flying in a plane from New York to Los Angeles.
Wouldn't that be something? That's kind of the most amazing aspect of this. Not necessarily the time, but
because
perspective costs.
Yeah, prospectively, this should cost millions of dollars.
You would think.
But like Elon says, it's just insane that we're trying to, we create a rocket and we'd essentially throw it away. That's insane. Mm-hmm. We need to create a rocket that we can use over and over and over again with parts that can be interchanged when they're damaged, because, just like a plane, they need a servicing. Just like a car, they need servicing. I don't see why a spacecraft is any different than any other vehicle that we use today.
Yeah. I mean, they have had 16 successful launches and landings in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes to show that, they're definitely onto something. I think it's amazing. It's just mind-boggling that is something that could actually be possible in my lifetime.
And just, back to CEOs and big companies, think of those, big, moments where they need to be at a certain place at a certain time, now, yesterday. They could jump on this craft and be there in a half an hour or so.
Right.
Again, most trips can be in under an hour. Most of these trips that they would need to take and be there yesterday, again...
Yeah, it's almost like time travel.
It is. It's kind of mind-blowing. Essentially, you would, again, if you're leaving at noon this day, and it's midnight on the other side of the Earth where you're heading to... You're kind of traveling forward in time a little bit.
Relatively instantly? In the amount of time it takes to watch a sitcom?
Yeah, I just can't... I can't fathom how fast that is. That's insanely fast to me. We're talking how the, Hyperloop would change lives. This would also change lives.
Yeah. London to Dubai or New York in about 29 minutes. Los Angeles to Toronto in roughly 24. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It's wow.
World travel would not be an issue.
No.
If you could pay about the same that you normally would for the average, flight of a normal standard plane... traveling over the Pacific Ocean wouldn't be an issue to go to Australia. Instead of that 18-hour flight, it's going to be half an hour or something, you know?
Yeah, if you want to go see some special event overseas, you know, you could leave in the morning.
You could leave the day of.
Yeah, and come back the night of if you wanted, same day.
Realistically, yeah.
I mean, of course, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of health issues might pop up on something like this, because we know with intercontinental travel, if you're sitting for so long, that's not good, because you got to be up moving around because blood's settling in your lower legs. But this, you won't have time to settle in. I mean, I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is the boost, that the G-force that it takes to leave Earth's atmosphere. That may be too intense for some people.
Right. Will I have to sign a waiver?
Yeah, right. We're not there yet. I mean, I know we'll get there. I think it's inevitable. I like to have that positive mindset that Elon has. I look forward to the future because I think there's a lot of great things that we can do. And he's kind of on the forefront of like every single one of them. Mm-hmm. I think in a good way, not in a creepy, like dystopian future way.
I mean, the flight crew wouldn't even have time to bring out the drink card on a flight like this.
No.
So
grab a soda on your way in, you know.
Exactly. No, I think it'd be really neat to see, and I'm really looking forward to following this. And like I said, I hope it has become something that, is just every day is, hey, I'm going to the airport. No, hey, I'm going to the launching pad and going somewhere. And I think it said they could hold somewhere between 80 and 200 people per trip. So, yeah, you're looking at, that's plane. That's normal flight size right there.
Yeah, every time... This is so interesting with Elon's companies. Like, he starts with this small idea, and it just evolves over time into this much bigger thing. Like SpaceX, from what I understand, when they first started out, their first 3 rockets just blew up. Right. They used the rest of their money on their last rocket, and it was a success. And I believe that was roughly 9 years ago, yesterday.
Wow.
Ish. So to think that all of this may not have even happened is kind of incredible.
Very.
Obviously, we'll keep an eye on everything Elon does because it is quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty darn unbelievable. Twitter wants to give you a chance to express yourself with more characters, essentially by doubling the 140 character limit to approximately 280 characters. I don't know how I think about this, because I would rather be able to edit some autocorrects, and sometimes I feel Twitter is not for that, we'll just say, long form of communication. It's kind of for short blurbs, have a little back and forth. But
at first I feel like, yeah, you're absolutely right, but in some respects you can barely fit everything you're trying to say if you're trying to say it a certain way.
Especially from like a podcaster's perspective. Sometimes when I'm publishing podcasts for clients, they'll have specific hashtags that I need to try to squeeze in, but I want to give enough detail to kind of entice people to, hey, listen to this, and put in a couple little hashtags that hopefully it'll garner attention with those people that are following those hashtags. But there's not enough because you got to still throw in a link. And
right.
So I think this would be good for something like what I'm doing. I don't know if it necessarily needs to be like that for everything and everybody. But Facebook is obviously long form. You can type as much as you want. You can put a whole little manifesto and whatever and present your argument and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's more for communicating with like direct family and friends. Whereas Twitter is more for interacting with like everybody. It's not just your friends or your family. It's just for people that you may never see in real life, but you can interact with everybody. It makes people so accessible.
And I mean, you can still keep short, concise posts, but that'd be a personal thing, whereas with maybe a little bit more character limit, I guess it would be double, right?
Yes.
Essentially, you can kind of articulate certain arguments or beliefs better.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think it could be good.
Because, I know there's been plenty of times where I've been in a discussion, and by the time, because you can only get 140 characters in, And sometimes you can't even feel that because, like, well, this won't make sense if this tweet's just out there by itself, because somebody will respond immediately to that tweet and you're busy typing up the follow-up.
You know, my hack right now, or a shortcut through that, is I type it all on like Word and I'll screenshot it, and then I'll just import that picture and hashtag what I'm talking about.
Right.
That way I can fit like 300 characters, and
right.
somebody can open up the post and read it that way. That's my way
yeah,
of
that's
doing
kind
it.
of the workaround for that right now. Or you just, like, if you put it in a Word document, just copy paste each tweet.
Oh yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, if you're just wanting to do actual Word tweets.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's ways around it, and I'm sure, you know, with this there might even be more potential for that. But I don't know. I mean, it should be interesting.
Maybe it's going to be good. Obviously, it's change, and because it's been 140 characters for what seems like forever.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little bit different, and probably just going to take a little while to get adjusted to how things are. But it just seems like there's some people in the world on Twitter that I don't want them having access to be able to say more at one time.
Yeah.
Because they just, So this week, some images started surfacing about the Xbox Watch that never happened.
Yeah, this was that fitness tracker that was long rumored to work with Xbox One, from what I understand. And yeah, Microsoft nearly made it. Well, we nearly made it around 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about the time when the One came out. There was all these rumors that the watch was going to work with the Kinect, because the Kinect could kind of gauge certain things, and there was all kinds of, you know, different things that they were working on. But I think for good reason, it just never got released.
Right. And, you know, looking at the back of this, because it shows, like, the connector, you know, you look at, you know, where the little, I don't know if you call them lasers, but, you know, the lights that would be keeping up with your heart rate monitors and stuff like that. A lot of that looks similar to what you would see on the underside of a Microsoft Band.
Yeah.
So you see where some of the band design came from, but I mean, the display on this is perfectly square. There's no, I mean, some of the corners of the actual screen are round, but, you know, the actual display that would be visible is completely square. There's the Xbox branding right there on the back. I don't know if this would have taken off better than the Band did.
Yeah, it's so hard to say. It's such... I still think that wearables, for the most part, are such a niche market. The only one that's actually doing anything is the Apple Watch, in my opinion. Most people you see walking around with an iPhone, if they have a wearable, it's an Apple Watch. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the wearables that I see the most are the Apple Watch and Fitbit.
Fitbit for the kind of the cost, a lot cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Apple Watch, obviously, because it's within the ecosystem of what they're already using. So,
yeah, I don't know if this thing would have done good or if it would have just been one of those things that they would have regretted releasing. Obviously, I think I still love the Band line, and so
yeah, I was
disappointed that they shut that down.
Opening up old wounds, I guess.
I know, it's like ripping off old bandages and start bleeding again, because there was so much potential there, but I don't know if it just wasn't the right people in the right positions to make this stuff like reality to where it could have been marketed good and would have garnered enough attention. And I don't know, it's still just hard to see. I don't know what was going on at the time.
Yeah,
Just what might have been. So Amazon also unveiled a load of new devices the other day, including the new Amazon Echo, which is actually just going to sell for like $100.
and so looks a little bit shorter than the original, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it just looks a little shorter, a little stockier. I think it's bigger around.
And it also comes in like different flavors, as it were.
A
like
bunch of different colors.
Fabrics and woods and things, I think.
Yeah, you can get like a premium one with wood, like Brad said. Those are a little bit more expensive, but the standard Echo now is $100. Now you can get the Amazon Echo Premium or something, I think that's what they're calling it, which looks similar to what you're already familiar with for $150, I believe. And there's the Amazon Echo Connect, Echo Spot, and so that was the Echo Plus is the one that's like $150. Unbelievable. The Echo Spot has a screen. It looks kind of like the Echo Dot in a way. So it kind of looks like a little hockey puck, but can actually sit facing up. It's kind of at an angle, kind of like the Samsung wireless chargers. But yeah, it's got a camera and a little display. So now, not only do they have the Echo Show, which has a camera that would be in your bedroom. Now, right there on your nightstand, you can have the Echo Spot for $130.
Also, the new 4K Fire TV device, which will only be $69, which is kind of crazy to me. Now, I don't know its specifications, whether or not it supports HDR, Dolby Vision, anything like that. But I would imagine that that would be something that they would want it to do. At least HDR10, because that's the industry standard right now. And 4K without HDR is not really that impressive, so hopefully they did the right thing.
I'm not sure, though, about the design of this. They kind of went like Google did with the Chromecast, where it's not just
very much
simple plug-in. You plug it in, and then you got this big square that's dangling. Something about that design I just don't like.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it.
It's just hanging around to the back of the TV.
Yep.
Granted, it's not like it's going to be making a bunch of noise flopping against the TV because there's no wind or nothing back there.
I mean, effectively, I believe that makes it the cheapest 4K player out there on the market. So
Possibly.
They kind of priced everyone out of the market there, which I guess Amazon tends to do that.
Yeah. So $70, and you get the Alexa voice remote. I mean, I'm still happy with my Fire TV. I think it's still a beautiful piece of hardware and that's from way back in 2014. It's hard to believe I've had that 3.5 years.
Wow.
It's gone really fast. And now 4K Ultra. Well, maybe I'd like to get that one and put my other one in the bedroom. So maybe I will get one of these. Again, it's only $70. It's one of those. You really don't have to think too much about spending $70 for something like this if you're going to use it a lot. And we do use ours a lot as it is. But I do want to get one of those new Echoes. They look nice. Really do look nice to me. I don't know which color I would go for. Because you've got, let's see, you got charcoal fabric, heather gray fabric, an oak finish. So that's where the price goes up to $120. There's the sandstone fabric. There's a silver finish, so it just looks like stainless steel in a way. That's also $120. Then you've got a walnut finish, so it's a nice dark wood grain. That's pretty nice looking. That's $120. So I'm curious to see how these are going to sound as opposed to the original Amazon Echo, which now what you're typically used to is the Echo Plus. And those come in black, silver, and white. And those are $150. And actually, see, I think that comes, if you get that now, you can get a Philips Hue bulb included, essentially for free. So that's a limited time offer. So that's saving like $15 if you order that like right now when you hear this. Otherwise, the Echo Plus by itself is $150. I don't know, man. Amazon, they sure are getting all up in your house. In every room out there. Pretty impressive stuff. Now, you still got your Google Home. You guys, I know you've had it for a number of months now. Do you use it for much?
I usually turn on NPR for the cat. So that way he just has some kind of background noise, has like people voices. And other than that, I stream podcasts to it. That's about it.
So do you listen to podcasts while you do any gaming or anything like that? Okay.
Yep. Because it's so convenient, being as it's Google to Google. I just hit the little stream button, goes right to it, boom, It's up there, pause, and everything. All the controls are right there. So, yeah, I use it pretty frequently on that because, again, it's really convenient. And the sound is not terrible for how small it is. Not terrible at all.
Yep. It is little.
Mm-hmm. I might actually have to get a base for it, being as I like it, enough.
Like a replacement kind of design?
Yeah, because they got the different
colors and feathers, yeah. Nice. And as an LG fan, I know you've had your eye on the LG V30. Well,
oh my god! So I don't know if you saw the video with the red weapon camera versus this.
I have not watched that yet. I know you shared it, but I haven't.
So it's a $50,000 camera, right?
Yeah,
so
red's like the camera.
They're not trying to say that a smartphone can match up to that. What they're trying to say is look how good it is next to the other footage, and the implementations of what LG has done in a lot of the camera settings really show and shine like, hey, they're really focusing on the camera. In a couple years, or maybe even a year from now, when the G7 comes out, who knows? I mean, they might have the best camera on the market from the way they're positioning this. I mean, they have a 1.6 f-stop. The low lights should be fantastic, I would imagine. And, on top of that, again, all the different filters that you can put through things like, while you're shooting, you can put a filter on it and shoot it a certain way. There are certain filters that kind of produce certain feelings, like the Matrix is shot in all like a green filter. That's why everything looks so like dreamy, I guess.
Right.
Like almost like you're in a dream, and it's done intentionally, and being able to do that on the fly, that's incredible.
Yeah. With a device that's sitting in your pocket.
Yep. I mean, on top of that, it's got pretty much all the latest and greatest hardware that you would expect in a 2017 phone, including the newer Snapdragon versus, where my LG does not. I'm not saying that that's necessarily like a selling point for most people at this point, because like I said, my 821, I forget that it's an 821. It's so fast, it works so great. Battery life is fantastic.
But for people that were kind of disappointed that the G6 only had the 821,
here you go.
Here you go. And
I would imagine that it'll be, well, I don't know. Is it going to be cheaper than the Note 8?
I think they're very competitively
priced
or comparatively priced. But yeah, it's going to be available on October 5th is when you can order it online from companies like AT&T and T-Mobile.
As soon as my wife gets it in their stores, I will go and look at it because I'm an LG fan.
Yeah, I know.
Diehard. Again, all the things that it can do with the camera are very interesting to me. They may not be to other people. But, I mean, it does still have all the waterproofing, fingerprint sensing, again, all the normal stuff that you would expect in a high-end flagship.
Yeah, and LG has announced that the V30 and the V30 Plus will be both covered under the second-year promise program, meaning that those handsets will have a limited warranty for up to 2 years after being purchased.
I wish I could just go out and get this phone right now. I mean, this is everything that I want in a phone, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm really hopeful and excited for the G7 because I typically do get the G line now. But if you are in the market for a phone, I would say maybe hold off and check out the V30 because this thing is awesome.
Yeah, don't just jump on the Note 8 just because it's the latest big device out there.
We've been discussing this kind of, I guess, around work, and it's kind of silly to give up a little bit of battery for a pen that most of us don't use very often. Why not get the cheaper, more affordable Galaxy S8 Plus instead of get the Note, which costs way more and does, well, frankly, all the same stuff minus the pen.
No, but I can't do those live messages where you've seen on the commercials. You can send little designs and stuff like real time for, and again, you've got to be note-to-note users to experience.
Yeah, that's all gimmicky to me. All the people I know have iPhones.
Gimmicky? What? Samsung? No. Samsung don't try to use gimmicks to get people to buy their handsets, do they?
Yeah, most people I know are probably smart and have an iPhone. I say that because sometimes I question having an Android because of the silly things that it does. However, I do like it.
No.
I'm just making fun.
I still like Android, so I just I'm just kind of like all in right now with Apple. Be kind of pointless for me to buy a new flagship Android device owning an Apple Watch.
Yep.
But no, I have thought, man, it sure would be nice to have that V30 because it'd be a nice step up Android-wise from my 6P.
Oh, yeah.
Be a heck of a step up, but yeah, it's a little too much money for a device that'll typically just sits on my nightstand.
True. Maybe wait till it goes on sale.
Yeah. All right, it's time for app entertainment and hardware picks. The first thing that I would like to talk about is something that is now available today. Cuphead is available on your Xbox One and Windows 10, so you can play anywhere. You buy it for $20, no matter which platform, and you can play it on the opposite platform.
Yeah, and this is the long-awaited kind of 20s, 30s cartoon-esque game that everyone has been talking about. It is, it's hard. It's not, I would say, Dark Souls hard, where it's just almost unfair. It's just, don't go in thinking it's a cutesy cartoon thing.
The animation in it is so awesome. It just looks
really
like those early days Bugs Bunny, Steamboat Willie animation. Oh, it looks so good with like that kind of not grainy filter, but you can tell it looks like an old film cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, the artistic direction will be timeless.
And the voices, like the characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching one video that had, they were buying something at the shop and the shopkeeper was like a pig or something. I was like, that is just perfect. Oh my God, they totally recreated that. It's just too good looking. And I don't even care if the game's fun. I want to play it just because of the way it looks.
Yeah, and I believe it supports couch co-op, so for those of you who like a
in-person two-player game,
that'd be the way to go. Also, in the world of Xbox, games with gold have been announced again. I am extremely excited about this next month because the two Xbox One games are games that I've been eyeing for a couple years now. I just haven't got around to buying them for various reasons. Well, they're both free. So, Gone Home, a nice kind of puzzler, mystery, kind of... it's hard to talk about it without spoiling too much. Great game. Highly suggest picking it up, being as it'll be free. And the Turing Test, also another puzzler. Think in the lines of Portal puzzler, but probably without portals. Will also be free. Excuse me.
So, Gone Home is the all-month free game. And then Turing Test is the October 16th through November 15th.
Which will be a full month, just offset.
Half one month, half next month.
Then you have your 360 games, which will be the, October 1st through 15th will be Rayman 3 HD, not as familiar with. Then also October 16th through the 31st will be Medal of Honor Airborne. I've heard isn't the best one in the series. However, it's free, so maybe check it out anyway. But what you really want to pay attention to are the first two games, the Gone Home and the Turing Test, because, exciting.
Yeah, and just based on your recommendations, it sounds great, and having them both just be free, just grab them, and if you ever play them, great. If you don't play them, well, at least they're there.
I would say both of them, for a person like myself who will probably tomorrow sit at home and play Destiny all day long, could probably finish both games in a day.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea. I might be a little bit wrong on the Turing Test. It may be closer to like a 9-hour game. I believe it's around 6 hours, but you can always look all of those times up, approximations of times to beat on, I believe it's timetobeat.com or something like that. Just type into a search engine, you'll find it. But it shows you times to beat on games and how long it will take. So you can maybe, schedule that out. Hey, I'm off for 2 days in a row. I'm going to finally beat that one game or whatever. it helps. It really does.
Yeah.
Especially with all of us with our huge back catalogs.
Yeah, that just keeps getting
Growing
larger and
growing.
larger.
It's a great problem to have.
It is, but it kind of gets a little frustrating. You're like, gosh, there's so many games I want to get, but just don't have time to play them. Speaking of which, a lot of people have just added 21 more new games to their back catalog with the Super Nintendo Classic that is now available today, September 29th. It's here, and, well, I haven't plugged mine in, but I've got one. Actually, I've got two. One's going to friend of the show, Justin. Just need to meet up with him. But last night I decided, I'm just going to go to our local Walmart because I knew that they were going to have 36 available in store. So I got there a little after 8, and I was number 13 in line. I don't think by the time that we were checking out at midnight, I don't think all 36 were spoken for.
That's crazy to me.
I think there might have been 32, 33 people.
I think a lot of that has to do with people thought already as like there's no way I'll be able to get one.
Mm-hmm.
I truly do believe that if you're listening to this right now and you really want one, go look. By the time you hear it, you may be in luck still, at least for the initial run. But don't just think automatically, oh, there's no way I'm going to get it. Just check this time around, because I feel like everybody's thinking the same thing, and you may have the advantage if you think otherwise.
Yeah, and just by, again, being in these various Facebook groups for gaming, it seemed like a lot of people were seeing the same thing, that not all of them were being accounted for, like at the Walmart midnight launches. I haven't really been on yet this morning to kind of see what people are saying from like Toys R Us and Target experiences, but I know another guy, Glenn, he was number 19 out of 70 at a Target.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously stores are getting a lot more. So Nintendo did make good on that promise. They would have more available at launch.
Yeah, which has been true so far.
Yes. So there's kind of no denying that. Now, how well they'll be able to keep up with restocks, how frequent that'll be, I would imagine probably there'll be another one next weekend, another restock. Just keep a look at it. I don't think you're going to have to worry about going to eBay and spending twice as much for one of these. I think scalpers are going to be highly disappointed expecting to be able to sell it for $200 some odd plus dollars.
Right.
I don't think they're going to get that.
No.
I mean, granted, you're going to get some people that they just don't care. They just want to guarantee that they get it, and they'll buy it on eBay or something. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're persistent, you're going to get a better chance of getting it. And again, it released, a month and a half earlier than the NES Classic did last year. So, I mean, last year that was just piss poor timing for Nintendo to launch that close to Black Friday, that close to the big holiday shipping season. That was kind of mistake number one. Mistake number two was underestimating demand.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo's reasonings were, well, we see all these other little retro consoles that just sit on shelves. We didn't want that. I understand that, but you're Nintendo. People really want your stuff. Not everybody really wants old Atari games and necessarily old Sega games on very cheap, poorly created Genesis Mini kind of things.
Yeah.
Those Sega ones, that's not like quote-unquote official, hey, Sega's still in the hardware business, so we're the ones creating that. Nah, totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Sega's path would have been different and they could have done their own true, not with the stuff that has been released under the Sega name.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, go get that, and I'm looking forward to getting a chance to play mine sometime later tonight. I don't know what the first game I might play would be. The Star Fox, just so I can get through the first level, unlock Star Fox 2, and just take a look at it. Which, speaking of Star Fox 2, the ROMs have already been dumped, and you can download this official release and put it on your emulator or whatever. And it looks like the SCS Mini Classic's going to be easily hacked as well, because the internals are the exact same as the NES Classic. So
they didn't decrease the storage.
It doesn't look like it.
Interesting.
It doesn't look like it. Yeah, I'm curious to really see once, Hackchi is updated to officially support this, what it's going to be. I don't know how many games we'll be able to squeeze on there, but
find out.
well, we definitely will find out, because that would be nice to. It'd just be nice to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll be able to put the entire North American library on there.
You could put a lot of your favorites.
You could at least get your favorite games on there and mix in and out some games you would like to try.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to this, so it's going to be fun. Looks great.
Sweet.
Time for the beer pick of the week, and this is actually something that I found and tried this week, and it is the Shiner Oktoberfest from, I guess you call it Spetzel Brewery? I don't know, Spoetzl.
Something like that. Over in Texas.
Yeah, down in Texas. So this is actually, again, it's a Marzen, and I've only had one out of the 6, and it's an Oktoberfest. I would probably put it, I haven't rated it yet. I want to kind of give it another shot before I do, but I would probably put it in that 3 1/4. It's not Schlafly's, it's probably not like the one that you talked about last week, but
yeah, I'm very, very picky when it comes to Marzen, and I've had so many of them. In fact, I have a couple more in the fridge that I've never had yet, and it looks like apparently I haven't had this one yet either, so interesting. But it has to be so true to style for me for it to warrant that, like, perfect 5. And Schlafly really nails it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, his wife's from Germany. Of course they're going to. However, yeah, I'd definitely give this a shot. All Marzens are, like, near and dear to me. It just, fall is here. It's like fall in a cup, you get that nice warm, bready, like, malty, slightly sweet with a little bit of, tiny bit of bitterness to balance it out. It's literally the perfect beer to me.
Well, if I think about it, next week I'll bring one up.
Sweet.
Or the next time we get a chance to record, because I don't think I'll go through them all this next week. Trying to cut back a little bit and trying to get a little bit healthier, but we'll see how that goes. 5.7 ABV, 18 IBUs, composite rating of 3.42 out of almost 49,000 ratings. So I'm kind of like right in there with, thinking 3 1/4. Yeah, I have to give it another shot and see how it is. So, again, I want to let everybody know, please go to Facebook and join the Tech Informist community. Again, there will be a link in the show notes, or simply go to facebook.com/groups/techinformist, or search Tech Informist community in your search bar. And you will find it. Just have a couple little questions to ask to get in, and once we see that you have sent in your request, we will gladly add you to our growing community, and feel free again to invite anybody that you feel would be interested in technology and introduce them to the show if you haven't already. We do appreciate it, and let us know your thoughts, and feel free again to ask any questions or feedback or anything like that. It's fun. It's good. Kind of excited to get a little bit more involved and have more discussions online and stuff like that. So, been a fun episode. Brad's getting ready to go off to work.
I am.
The joys of being a worker.
Yep.
Hopefully it'll be a nice, calm, easy day at work. Things have been a little busy here in St. Louis when it comes to mall activity.
Yep.
So just be safe out there. Hopefully everybody has great weather wherever you're at, and hopefully we can get Puerto Rico back on its feet again soon, because, man, they got hit hard.
Yep.
And it was just the strangest couple of weeks of weather I've ever seen.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like, hurricane activity. 1 or 2 in a season, you understand, but, man, it was just one after another. Just kept coming.
It's only
and coming.
gonna get worse.
So, yeah. Possibly. It definitely looks to be going that direction. So, I guess what best places to donate are like Red Cross and stuff like that, if you've got any money to help the cause and getting power and everything restored. So if you can spare a few bucks, help them out. I'm sure they could use it. Because that's not something that I can imagine what it would be like to go through, knowing that everything you own has just been decimated, including family members and friends and stuff. So yeah, until next time, consider yourself informed. We're out.
Bye-bye.